Alrighty then. So, I have an invitation for you, for each and every one of you. And I want you to consider it your personal invitation. Imagine that right now, I am handing you a beautiful, elegantly calligraphied envelope. Beautiful beige cream linen envelope. And on it, you will find your name in that calligraphy in gold. And an invitation inside that is engraved in gold, of course in gold. So you are, it says this, you are cordially invited to let 2024 be the year that you awaken, truly awaken to the beauty of life, to the wonder that Spirit has intended for each and every one of us. Yes. What would 2024 be like if you RSVP'd yes to that invitation? Think about it. Would 2024 be like, what would it be like if you were fully awake and present for all of it, all the meaning, all of it? And by that, I do mean fully awake and present to the life you now have. Fully awake and present to who you are in every moment. Fully awake and present to what brings you joy right here and right now. And that gratitude that comes with that joy of living in this now moment and feeling that joy. Fully awake and present to the life you are creating with. Every thought you think, every emotion you have, every word you speak, and basically every action you take. We are creative beings, and we are creating through our thought, through our word, through our emotions, and through our actions. What might that awakened life look like? Well, my friends, that is your invitation for 2024. And each week in January, we will dig into that invitation. We will go deeper into the invitation itself. And at the same time, we will honor our New Thought teachings, because January, which will be tomorrow, is basically the time that we go to the nuts and the bolts, to the basics of our Science of Mind teaching, this beautiful spirituality. So today we're going to look at 4 stages of spiritual consciousness that we might experience as we RSVP yes to this invitation of awakening. These stages of spiritual consciousness have been called kingdoms. And the definition of a kingdom is perfect in this context this morning. It is a realm or region in which something is dominant. So this morning, we will look at 4 areas, 4 realms, regions in your life that are dominant. These dominant in your level of awakening. Because there's 4 levels of awakening, which we're going to get into. So are you ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Just a couple. All right, you don't all have to RSVP. I personally will RSVP myself. And wait, there are 3 things that I want to say before we get on to that. 1, I didn't make these up. They originated, I don't make anything up, I recycle. But anyway, they originated with, we have an Agape member with us today, with Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith of Agape Spiritual Community in California. She took our foundation class and manifested her perfect job in California. It happens all the time. And of course, she goes to Agape. And where else are you going to go after Joyful Gathering? Agape, right? 10,000 members. All right, back to this. Okay, so I didn't make these up. He made them up quite a few years ago now, quite a few years, and they are taught throughout our spiritual movement. And the second thing is, as we talk about them, just observe where you are, where you hang out, which of these stages are you hanging out, and not looking at them with blame or with beating yourself up or not feeling good about it. It's just where you are right now. We go in and out of all 4 of these stages. Just notice, and likewise, you don't have to get all puffed up if you happen to be in the where you wouldn't if you were in the 4th stage, but we go in and out of all of these stages. And now, if you're ready, we are going to talk about Michael Beckwith's 4 stages of being. The first one is the why me? Why me, or the mortal stage? And I know that we've all been in that. I know I have. So the first stage of spiritual consciousness, or the kingdom of awakening, is more asleep than awake. And we have all been there, done that. We've all been there, where we just are sleepwalking through life, not really conscious of how powerful we really are. At this stage, life is a real struggle. We feel separate, disconnected, alone, powerless, a victim of circumstances. You've heard of victim consciousness. Well, it would reside in this first realm. And we think that we have absolutely no control over what is happening in our lives. It is basically always happening to us. And at this stage, we think something outside of us is doing this to us. It could be the God outside of us, the numerological chart. You know, when you go and you have the numbers done, and that basically is being done to you. It could be our parents, our siblings, the government. It could be so many different things. You know, people like this, it's always happening to them. And guess what? It's always happening to them. Because what we believe, we know, goes into the law and becomes our reality. So we have control over our lives, but in this stage, we don't feel it. We do not feel it. And there's a perfect way to know if we are in this stage, and it is accompanied by quite a bit of noise, drama, confusion, all this complaining, lots of complaining, and the back of your hand is like Velcro when it sticks your head, yeah? And we say, why is this always happening to me? Or, the sister words, why is this happening to me again? Or their cousin. If only he or she would not do this to me, I could be happy. I could be at peace. My life would be so great if it weren't for them doing this to me. It's the to me stage. Not the by me, but the to me, or for me. Anybody recognize any of those, those thoughts? Yeah? Every once in a while, we go in and out of them too. The good news is when we awaken in the other stages, we know how to get out of it. We don't stay in that. We have the opportunity. This is a great stage because we have the opportunity to awaken to the truth of our being that we didn't even know existed. That's the beauty of these teachings. They're very empowering. That we are not victims of circumstances, fate, other things. We're not the economy. We're not the victims of any of these things. We have the opportunity to awaken to the truth that we are powerful and empowered beings. We truly are. Endowed with the very nature that created us. This divine energy that created all that is, all that was, all that could ever be, created us. And we are created out of that energy, so therefore we have the ability to create. We can create whatever we truly imagine and desire and believe in our being. And that moves us then to the second stage, of spiritual consciousness. The kingdom of awakening, which is this is the Baimi or metaphysician stage. This is when we just start to say, hey, maybe there is something else. Maybe I'm not actually a victim of circumstance. And we begin to understand that we are part of something so much bigger than we could have ever imagined before. No one told us that. We were never told how empowering, most of us weren't, we truly are. And that we are part of something so much bigger. We are, not even a part of it, we are that something so much bigger. That's the truth of our being. And we can, when we work in harmony with that, all things are then possible. Holmes writes, Ernest Holmes writes this in his Science of Mind book, page 38. We are thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. The sum total of all our thoughts, will, purpose, and belief create a tendency in the law, the divine law, that cause it to react to us according to the sum totals of that belief. Ignorance of the law excuses no one from its effects, he writes. It's true. If then certain specific ways of thought and belief have produced limitations, other beliefs will change them. That's how powerful we are. So we didn't know it before, but when we wake up and we know it, we change our lives. We truly change our lives. We learn at this stage that things don't just happen to us. They happen according to what our belief system is. We learn that we can change our thinking and then change our lives. In this stage, we learn that we are creative beings. This is a very, very, very empowering place. And it's a place we all need to awaken to in order to experience the beauty of life, the true beauty and what that beauty really means of life. We've learned that we are creative beings, really creative, and we can create the life we desire to live. We can. I've done it. I've proven these things. As Ernest Holmes says, don't believe me, and I say, don't believe me, prove it to yourself. It works, as they say in the 12 steps, if you work it. So it's how much are you working it? How deep is your faith and your belief system? This is the stage where we learn amazing tools like affirming and visualization and vision boards and spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer. We learn that if we can see it with our mind's eye and feel that it is done, we can create it. We must believe in ourselves to that extent that it's already done. It's done in divine mind. It will come forth in our experience because it's not linear. It will come forth in our experience in the perfect time, in the perfect way. And we can do that. New Thought has done a wonderful job of teaching this, truly empowering people. I love when people call us a cult. You go to the cult. Cult is when you give all your power to one person. This teaching, we give power to ourselves, not to anyone else, to us alone. What you do is not my business. What I do is my business, and I'm responsible for it. I'm responsible for it. And so, if you have not yet mastered this stage or feel that you're a little rusty, 2024 is a year to awaken to this. And we offer the foundation class, which is the basis. And if there's nothing else you learn from that class, it is the creative process, how we create. and how important it is to be clear and to allow the universe to work for us and through us. So this stage, or kingdom, because there's 4 kingdoms, is critically important. But it isn't the final stage. There's another one, another evolution in consciousness is all there is. And consciousness is always evolving. It's the way it is. It's always evolving, and we are conscious beings, and the more we practice these spiritualities, the more conscious we become, and then we become even more of what the good is, not what we don't want, what the good is by waking up. So the next stage is where we make things welcome. So the 3rd stage is through me, or the mystic. In this 3rd stage, we begin to release control and replace it with a sense of a personal relationship with something that is so much more powerful than we are. When we really believe that, there's a powerful good, as Holmes said, and you can use it. It's the truth. It's the truth. At this stage, we begin to realize that we are spiritual beings having this human experience. It is called through me, or mystic stage. Ernest Holmes said succinctly, the mystic is one who senses the divine presence. The mystic is one who senses the divine presence, is one with it, can actually feel this presence. It's such a gift. The mystic feels that God's presence. Perhaps not all the time, but certainly we have extreme moments when we're in this 3rd stage of feeling it. And it's a beautiful gift that we do give to ourselves. The through me, or mystical stage of our evolution of consciousness is a place where we surrender more and more to the divine. Thy will, not my will. And that is a freedom. That is a freedom, not a bondage. Where we desire to simply be an open vessel for the good of God. We're talking about all this good and more in 2024. It's when we're open and receptive to the good of God moving through us. And I listen to that intuitive voice. I pay attention, I listen to it, I make my decisions from it. Might not make any sense. Most of the things I do in life don't make sense to anyone else. They don't even make sense to me, but I do them anyway because there's that intuitive thing inside of me that knows. And you ever get that feeling when you just know this is the right thing to do? That's what I'm talking about, being open and receptive to that divine good. And use me. You know this song, Ricky Byers back with. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide, as you show me all that I must do. We find that we're not so attached to a particular outcome. Remember, we're specific, but we don't outline for the divine, because it's so much better than we could imagine. But we need to be specific in our desires. Yet, in this relaxed receptivity, we are more available to the greater good. So much greater than we can imagine. In this stage of evolution, we bring in some other spiritual tools like visioning. Visioning, a great tool, which we're going to do at the end of the month. Visioning, present moment awareness, and then the kicker of them all, forgiveness. Always forgiveness. At this stage, our prayer takes on different focus. Rather than the focus of manifesting something, they are more like a prayer of willingness and openness. We allow the divine good to flow through us, to guide us. In fact, on page 268 in his book, Ernest Holmes tells us, true prayer must be, thy will be done. But the implication relative to the will of God in this prayer is not a submission to the inevitability of evil, which is erroneous thinking, or a limitation. It is the knowledge that the will of God is always good. The will of God is always good, and it's always for us. While the stage of the mystic is very, very powerful, there is still yet another stage, the fourth stage, the master kingdom. As me or the master. Joel Goldsmith wrote, "Do not pray to God for things. Pray to God to know that all things will simply appear." Isn't that great?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All things will simply appear when you pray to know that divinity, the divine, that God. When a master sees lack or limitation, he or she knows that it is just a place for calling forth more of God into expression, more of the good, because they're synonymous, God and good, more of the good into expression. It's an opportunity to experience more of the divine. This is how Jesus turned water into wine, fed the thousands, healed the sick, raised the dead. When he faced the lack or limitation, he saw it as an opportunity to experience more of God. Holmes tells us in the final conclusion of the Science of Mind, he tells us this: the essence of spiritual mind healing and of all true religious philosophy is an inner realization of the presence of perfection within, around, about us. It is the hope of heaven, the voice of God, proclaiming, "I am that which thou art that which I am." And that is the as-me, or master stage of consciousness. I am that which thou art, and thou art that which I am. That's the oneness. There is no separation. That is the oneness. And that which is God, that which I am, truly can only be love. Express this kindness, express this compassion, express as respect. That's a big word for me. Respect. That's what love truly means to me. How much do I respect my fellow human, my fellow animal kingdom, my fellow mineral? All of it is all in that oneness of the divine. During our lifetimes, we will spend time in and out of all four of these kingdoms. As I said, it is not a linear process. Never is. We go back and forth, switching metaphorical residences depending on the issue, the condition, the situation at hand. Remember the invitation that you received just a little while ago. What did it say? You are cordially invited to let 2024 be the year you awaken, truly awaken to the beauty of life that Spirit intends for you to live. God wants us to live our best life. What are you awakening to this morning? I'll go over this quickly. The 4 stages. To the realization that you are hanging out in the why me or mortal stage, that you have the opportunity there to embody the truth, that you are powerful, that you are empowered being with the very nature of that which created you. I love that. I know that God is within me. That's why I can say without hesitancy, I am God. And you can say that too. I am God, each and every one of us, because we have God energy. That is our true self. And then we moved into, or is it the realization that while the by me or metaphysical kingdom is absolutely vitally necessary, it isn't the end. And you can awaken to something so much bigger and more powerful. The truth that you don't have to make things happen. You can allow them. We can give up the control of making these major decisions that we make, and we think that we have to have this outcome, and then we make these decisions and the outcome comes and it's not what I was expecting. It never is, because God has something so much better for us always. This or something better. We always end our treatment with this or something better. I like something better myself. And then you move to the third stage, the mystic, where you allow God to consciously work through you. Not my will, but thine. As the master teacher Jesus said, knowing that God's will is always for the highest and best good. Always. And then, in 2024, are you ready to cultivate the as-me stage, that consciousness? Or to step into the kingdom of the Master, where there is no sense of separation. There is only the one. There is only the flow of that divine energy as us. That's all there is. There is only that loving energy. And whenever and wherever you are ready to go, Joyful Gathering Spiritual Center is here to support you. We offer the classes, the workshops, the camaraderie, so we can all hang out together. We offer these Sunday services so that we can, me too, can be reminded of the most incredible spiritual truth there is, that we are one in consciousness. Consciousness is all there is. Science is now proving that. There is nothing else but consciousness. So science is now proving what Ernest Holmes knew all along. So, let's just take a deep breath. I gotta take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Just take that all in, yes. Oh, that loving energy that is moving in and through it as each and every one of us. We allow that good to have its way with us. We allow that good to direct us, to guide us, to protect us, to love us fully and completely. And we are so grateful for that. We are so grateful for this new year, a year that we can awaken to the truth of who we really are, when we can take control of our lives, when we aren't victims anymore. We are masters of life. And that's what I'm claiming for each and every one, that we are all masters and mistresses, whatever you want to call it, of our own self. We take responsibility. We are the ones. We are the ones. And so, I say to you all, Happy New Year and a fabulous more in 2024. Thank you.